Hello, hello, hello. This is Els Company from Bemis Crafty Corner, and today's project is this, a tag book. Yes, it's a tag book. It's a book full of tags, okay? And we're going to be making one of these today, probably a little less chunky, but we're going to be making one of these today. And in here are all the tags that we made in the last project. So I will show you a little bit more of this at the end of the video. Until then, let me get you a list of supplies. And as always, remember, all of the directions and all of the measurements will be in the description box below. So hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so what are we going to need? We're going to need a paper trimmer. Possibly some clamps would be good here. Some glue, a 1-inch or ½ inch hole punch, your choice, a bone folder, some cardstock or lightweight chipboard. This is 22-point chipboard, so it's a little stronger than your standard cardstock. You're going to need some coin envelopes. These are the 4 1/4 by 2 3/4 size. They can be colored, white, whatever you have. You could use smaller ones if that's all you have. Cardstock that matches the project that you're doing, and a scoreboard. If you do not have a scoreboard, I'll show you a trick for that as we go. And as always, all of the measurements and the supply list will be in the description below. I'll be right back as soon as I clear this out of the way, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of cardstock or chipboard, lightweight chipboard. This is 22 point. We're going to take it down to 9 3/4. By 2 3/4. And then we're going to be using 8 envelopes for this, okay? So 4 of them, we are going to just barely trim a little teeny piece off the end, okay? So 4 of them, basically we're just going to be opening them up. Which, if you're using this size envelope, would be taking them down by literally just a scant, like a 1/16. It's nothing, okay? Then the other 4, we are going to take down to about 3 inches, okay? There we go. So that's all of 8 of our envelopes cut down, and our piece of paper. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to score this. And to score this, we're going to be scoring it on the long end. Okay, we're going to score at 4 3/4, and that's 2 notches before the 5, and then again at the 5. Okay, that's it for scoring. All right, now we're going to be folding this over. So we're going to fold it over, make sure we line up our edges. Press that fold in really good with your bone folder. And then we're going to do the other side as well. Again, lining up the edges. That'll tell us this part is straight. There we go. We're going to end up with our little book. Now we're going to put this to the side for the moment. We're going to bring back the envelopes because there's a few things we're going to do to the envelopes. Okay, so when we're working on the finished piece, we're actually going to be cutting notches in here. If you are one of those people that are like, oh no, I must, my mat must come all the way around my notch, then notch the paper, notch this, then put it all together. If not, and you're just one of those people that's like, no, it just needs to be notched around the outside, then you're going to be fine to put this on, okay? So we are going to now ink these. Now remember, they're open on the ends, and you have a flap down here. Now you're going to be gluing all of this shut. So you want to ink all of these all the way around, inside and out, okay? So let's do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have inked these all the way around, inside and out, we are going to get to the point where we are going to start assembling them. Now, matting them is going to be your personal preference. Once we get them together, you can decide whether you're going to mat them or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of each envelope, 2 of the small, 2 of the large, and basically we're going to cut about half of this tab off. 2 large, 2 small, and we're going to remove about half of the tab. You can use a cutter for this. You just nip it off with a pair of scissors. This part's not going to show. Okay? And we'll start with the small ones first. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be using our glue. We're going to put some glue on our tab. And then we're going to stick the tab inside the flap portion of the envelope. We're going to do both of these with the tabs facing down towards our cutting board. We're going to make sure that we line these up nice. And we're going to do that to all of the sets. 2 smalls and 2 large together, okay? Easy peasy so far, right? Go. Set those over there to dry. We'll do the next one. Lay them up. The last one. All right, now, here, where you still have a flap hanging out, is going to be open. You want to close that. So you're just going to go in with your glue and just put a bead of glue across, press it down. We're going to do that on all 4 of these as well, because we're not going to be able to actually access this pocket once we're done. Okay. Now, once these dry, we're going to take 1 large and 1 small, put them together, and then we want to reinforce this. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up the small and the large, and we're going to fold over the flap. And we're going to hit that with the bone folder. And then we're just going to glue these 2 pieces together. Now you could stick the flap inside, but then that only weakens the hinge, because we're going to be using the flaps themselves as the hinge. We don't want to do that. Now you can decide if you want to have, when you put these into your little book, do you want to have the small ones on the outside, small ones on the inside? Maybe you want to go alternating, however you want to do it. I think I'll do this one alternating. So I'm going to be putting the smaller one on the back, lining everything up, fold it over, hit it with my bone folder. And then I'm going to put some glue on here. Okay. So now the flap is actually going to become our hinge to put this into our book. And we're going to have 2 long ones, 2 short ones, 2 long ones, 2 short ones, once we get them loaded into the book. Okay, so our first mats are 3 3/4 by 2 1/4, and then we have the little one here. So let's get out our ruler and measure that one as well. So we already know that it's going to be 2 1/4 across. So we need to figure out the length, and it's right at 3 inches. So if we just take half an inch off, 1/4 of an inch, you could do 2 1/2 or 2 3/4. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to do 2 1/2 by 2. No, 2 1/4. I'm going to do, let's see, 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay? So now you're going to cut down all your pieces, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we have matted all of these up. Now we have a couple of things to do before we can kind of move on, okay? So at this point, we have to decide if we want any top pockets up here, or if we're just going to have pockets on the end. These are choices you need to make. Now remember, if you're going to have a pocket here, you don't need to put a mat on it. I did this so wrong. So just remember, if you're going to put a pocket like here at the top, going in this way, you do not need to mat these 2 on the inside, okay? For this one, I'm just going to be putting the pockets through. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circle punch, which my desk is eating, and I'm going to put it inside the pocket. And on these ones here from the Punch Studio, they have an arrow on the side that tells me when it's lined up. So once I have it lined up, I'm just going to pop a hole, and I'm going to start taking those out. And I'm going to do the outside of each pocket, not the inside. Okay, now remember, if you're going to put pockets on the top, now would be the time to do that. So if you wanted to, you would have to glue these together in order to form those top pockets. I recommend you wait until you get this in the book so you know exactly where they need to be if you're going to do it, okay? So next thing we're going to do is pull out our cover. We're going to be putting these in one side at a time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the piece that's going to go on our left, and we're just going to kind of line it up top and bottom where we want it. And then we're just going to put a little bit of glue on our flap. And we're going to press that down. Take our whole piece over. Make sure it's all nice and straight. And at this point, if you want, you could put a couple of clamps on this just to hold it in place. Okay? Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other one. We're just going to simply place it where it needs to be and get it top and bottom lined up. And then we're going to put some glue on our flap. Okay? it up. Top and bottom. Lay it down. Make sure it's straight. And I'm going to glue my flaps down till, tack them down till they dry. Both sides. There we go. And I'm going to let this all dry and set up, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that we've done this, there are a bunch of people going, ah, there's white. Okay, you're not going to be able to get in here and get this whole thing inked. So we need to figure out something else. Now, the way I take care of it is I take my 1.5 inch circle punch and I just cut a bunch of halves. Now, I could use the same design, or I could color coordinate it and just glue that in there, just like that. See? And it gets rid of that glaring white part, okay? Now, on some of your envelopes, you may have little corners like this that pop open. Just glue them down. Just put a little bit of glue and just glue those down, and that'll keep them from popping up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get these all put in here, and I'll be right back. And then the outside cover, of course, the measurements are going to be exactly the same. This is 4 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I am simply going to cut that at 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut the 10 inches. Okay, I'll show you why. Okay, so we cut the paper down to 10 by 2 3/4, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue on here. And I'm just going to start on the one side. And then I'm going to line up my paper on that one side, matching my corners and my edge. And I'm going to bring it down. Now, when I get to that crease, I'm going to fold it around and finger crease it. Okay. We'll add a little bit more glue. And then we're going to finger crease it here again. And then we'll add a little more glue. Making sure we keep everything lined up. Okay. Now, when we get this done, you're going to notice that there's some paper here. It's not quite 1/4 inch. It's more like 1/8 and a smidge. That you're going to cut off by hand. Okay, so we are done. This is the one that I did originally. And then this is the one that we kind of did together. And it's not as big, but that was just because I just didn't decorate it as much. So let's take a look at the one that we did together first. And so this one, we put a nice big flower on the front, a couple little enamel butterflies, and just a simple white ribbon tie to close it. And when you open it up, you've got all these little tags and pockets up here, and more tags and more tags and lots more tags, and just tags all the way through. And I really didn't decorate this one out. I actually made this from one of my fun kits just because I wanted to see. So it's really bright and colorful, very rainbow. Will work with a lot of different things, and it's really cute. And because it's smaller, I could actually stitch this if I wanted to into a journal. because it's not that big. Now let's take a look at the other one. This is the one that has the tags in it that we made in the previous video. So this one is all decorated out, and there's the tags. And I went ahead and put some lace down here at the bottom of the pockets. We've got another one over here, and yet another one up here. So we've got another one right there. And then we've got a little paper clip in here with just some dangles on it, some little designs. And over here we have another tag. And then I put in just some little pieces here and a little space to write if somebody wants to. And then there's the coffin one in the little pocket. And then over here, we made another pocket again out of these two pockets here, the 2 coin envelopes. I put another piece of lace in. And we've got a lot of nice big thick tags in that one. And then we've got a little tag over here and just some more journaling space. And then I just put a little teeny tuck tag right here because I thought that was cute. And again, all I did to tie this up is basically punched a hole in either end and just threaded a piece of ribbon through the outside. And you could tie that ribbon on if you wanted to, you know, attach it with some Fabri-Tac or some hot glue or whatever you wanted to do, and just kind of attach this on. Got a little curled there. So there they are, the 2 tag books. I hope that you guys have as much fun with this project as I did in creating it. If you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at bemiscraftycorner@gmail.com or Elsbeth Talent on Facebook, either one. And I'll be happy to help you with any questions that you may have. Until the next time, guys, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like me, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends. Because guess what? This has something to do with our next project. Bye-bye.